Welcome, everybody. I've got Andy Talaga, and we are here to do a tier list of the premiere to Death Star 2 format in Star Wars CCG. There's a retro tournament going on starting on May the 4th, so it's not too late to sign up that Andy will be running. We've got a bunch of decks in front of us. These are not the only decks you could do. These are just sort of possibilities. If you want to be creative and make your own thing, then do that. But this is going to be kind of an S to D tier, S being the best, D being the worst. I didn't want to name these because people made fun of me for naming them before. So just, go with the traditional formatting here. Andy, how are you, my man? Are you excited to run a tournament?
I am. We've got 65 people signed up for it already. Category1games.com is sponsoring the tournament. So if you sign up for it and you play at least your first match, you'll get $5 in store credit to Category 1 games regardless that you can use. And then prizes scale up from that all the way up to $50 store credit for first place. And we've got a lot of other really great prizes. It's going to be great. It's match play championship. So it's for differential and you play 2 games against the same opponent. Really excited for it. Signups go through April 19th, 2025. Then there's about a week where I have to rank everybody and then send out pairings.
So, and it's free to enter, but with no further ado, for the people viewing this in 2026 randomly because the YouTube algorithm got you there, let's just rank these decks. So we got S to D. We're starting out here on the left. Where would you put this deck? And can you read it? Because I can't read it. My eyes are too bad.
This deal is getting worse all the time, aka T Gigawatt. Unfortunately, this deck is no good. It is definitely D tier. It needs a lot of help. It doesn't have a way to get locations out so that you can then flip, because you get Dark Deal and Cloud City Occupation set up. So you need to control the ground and control the air at both Cloud City, where you can't put capital ships, at Bespin, where they're going to be trying to attack you, and spread out over 3 or 4 sites with no way to pull all your ground sites. You can pull Bespin and Cloud City, but you can't do anything beyond that. It's not very good until it gets the helper from Tatooine set. So D tier for now.
Don't play this unless you really love Cloud City stuff.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we got Brangus, which this might be the skill level required for this deck is pretty high. I'm going to be honest.
Really, really high. If you know what you're doing, Brangus is S tier by far. It's probably one of the best decks in the format. You're not going to lose with it. It goes up one more, Matt. S.
I was going to put an A for the average person because I just think.
If you don't know what you're doing with it, it's probably D tier because you're going to lose real fast. You're going to make a mistake on turn 2 and not know how to recover from that, and just the game's going to spiral out of control. But if you know what you're doing, it is hands down probably there's another deck on here that's probably the best deck for Dark Side, but it's really good. I'll give you A because not everybody's going to be an absolute master with it.
All right, next we have Reltier Ops. This is a fun deck. Reltier Ops Trooper is what I'm kind of thinking. There's different ways to build this.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways, and whichever way you build it, whether you're building it troopers with Trooper Assault or you're building it with walkers with ATSTs, this is by far the best deck in the format for Dark Side. Far and away S tier. If there was an S plus, it would be ROPS. If it was S plus plus, it would be ROPS. ROPS is just unfair and it's really, really dumb. Play ROPS if you want to win.
Okay. Another deck that I think is very annoying, the Bring Him Before Me deck.
Yeah. So it's my favorite deck of all time. I've probably played 600 or 700 games of Death Star 2 with just Bring Him Before Me. I think personally, it's S tier. You get a phenomenal activation platform, and you take away Lightside's best character, which is Luke Skywalker, for the whole game. and you're just a Vader mains and toys beatdown deck. But it has trouble with space decks like Hidden Base or like Mind What You Have Learned that doesn't interact with you. So I might actually put it at A.
That's kind of where I had it at as A. Like, I think it's a very good deck, but there are like if your opponent's kind of doing an aliens thing, like there could just be like a no Luke Skywalker to grab even.
Well, then it's really even better because your destiny makes them lose 3/4 a turn at the start of each turn.
Oh, that's right.
And they just lose because you just have Vader at a battleground site draining, and they lose 3/4 every turn.
All right. What do we got next here? I can't remember what this objective's called.
Carbon chamber testing.
Mm-hmm.
Carbon chamber testing is D tier. It's not even C. It's bad. There's really hard way. It's not good when you flip it. It doesn't really do anything. Makes like Scum and Villainy immune to alter, and you can retrieve 1 force a turn. That's it for a lot of work. You have to move a frozen cat. You have to freeze somebody with carbon freezing, and then move them across 4 sites to the audience chamber to retrieve 1 force a turn. It's horrible.
All right. Don't play this unless you probably don't want to win. All right. Endor operations, I think, is this or this. Like, it's bad, but it could be
if you're doing Endor operations to flip Endor operations where you set up ominous rumors and establish secret base, it's D tier. There's no joke. It's awful. It's really bad. It doesn't do anything, and it's really hard to set up, and you have to again control like lots of systems and lots of sites to make it really worthwhile.
As a platform just to kind of do stuff on Endor, it's not terrible. Sure. It may be C, but all right. What about Imperial Occupation? I think that's what our next one is.
So you can't play it with operatives because they're terrible. They got eroded, and then there's a silver bullet for them. You would only play it where you start Yavin 4 and one of the diamond sites like Forest or Jungle on Yavin 4 so that you can stop Throne Room Mains from doing its stuff. If you play against Throne Room Mains, it's probably like C. If you're not playing against Throne Room Mains, it's D tier. It's not good.
All right. What about this thing's operational? I think this might be kind of C.
So this one, you actually use Endor operations to set it up. But you're never doing anything with Endor operations other than using it for the very first line of text, which is deploy your 3 sites. TTO, if you get it up and running, it's probably about C. Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. It's a decent space deck, but it's really card intensive.
All right. Next up, we have our TIE Fighter deck. I like this deck. I have it built in my own paper copy deck. I would put it maybe here. It could be A.
I don't think it's A. Not even close. But B, C, somewhere in there. If you get it up and running the way it's supposed to be running, and you just start looping retrieval and ties and like retrieve your whole lost pile and set up big drains in space, and your deck does what it's supposed to do, then it's really hard to beat. But if you stumble even just like a little bit, the game can get away from you really quickly, and you end up kind of being in a really tough spot. So yeah, B, C. If you want it in B, I'll put it in B. I'm not crazy about it there, but that's fine. Yeah, ISB I think is in B tier as well. There's 2 different ways to build it. You can build it with space, where you're just like Star Destroyers, or you can build it with Outer Rim Scouts in Jabba's Palace and play Scum and Villainy. Both of them are excellent because at least the space one tries to set up Imperial Decree, and then between Imperial Decree and the -1 from your flip, you shut down all the force strains everywhere, and then you get some like retrieval going. But if you are on like ISB, you can set up really big drains in Jabba's Palace. So they're both good.
All right, we got a couple left here. We got Court of the Vile Gangster, which I think is generous, maybe C, if you kind of get it going.
Yeah. Court is okay. I might put Court at B, B, C, somewhere in there. Only because Scum and Villainy is like really good. And this is a good Scum and Villainy platform. You never want to flip this objective because the flip side of the objective is just terrible and doesn't do anything. So it's good for being a alien deck on Tatooine. That's basically what it is.
All right, our last deck, which is
Hunt Down. Hunt Down suffers a lot because of Honor of the Jedi. Honor of the Jedi is probably the best like light side card, or one of the best light side cards, and really hurts this deck. It's probably B tier. There's some ways that like you can play it and it's just a good Vader mains and toys deck. It's just slower than Bring Him Before Me and doesn't really take Luke off the table. Actually, it's punished by Luke being on the table. And you can randomly just, because of Honor, they just leave Visage of the Emperor up and they're not really doing anything. So you're just like losing a force every turn and they're not. The benefit of Hunt Down over Bring Him Before Me is Hunt Down can pull out the Death Star 1 docking bay because Bring Him plays Death Star 2 sites. The Death Star 1 docking bay lets you put all sections on alert, and then you can just like stop your opponent from drawing Battle Destiny and blank their game text for a turn, and it's really hard for light side to interact with. B, I'm sure some people will say it's A tier, but somewhere between A and B, I think.
Is there anything we're missing from this list? Like now that we've made this list, there's like a Walker Garrison thing that doesn't really work super well in this. That might be kind of like C or D.
Walker Garrison would definitely be D. It's not good. There's like a lot of different flavors of Scum and Villainy decks. You can set it up with Set Your Course for Alderaan. You can set it up with even with Set Your Course for Alderaan, you just use it as an activation platform and play like 3 or 4 copies of Tatooine Jabba's Palace and then pull the Audience Chamber, and then you're just going to town as a Scum deck with a lot of activation. You can also just do a Jabba's Palace start. There's different like combat readiness. Is that it? Yeah, combat readiness. So you could start like Tatooine and combat readiness for Jabba's Palace. That's probably how you would actually play that deck. I think that's pretty much it. We have, I think, all the objectives on there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything that we're really missing other than just like straight up try to flip Set Your Course for Alderaan, which is below D tier, probably F tier. So I think this list looks pretty good.
I agree. I'd love to hear people's thoughts in the comments. What are we missing? Where would you rank this stuff? We'll be back with a light side version of this next week. So like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Sign up for the tournament. It is free. There's very few things that are free in life except Andy's retro tournament. So
yeah,
that's one.
Thanks to Scott Church at Category 1 Games,
who has been a generous sponsor of this channel, helping me upgrade the latency of the videos. So thanks, Frank. We'll be back later. See ya.
Bye.